I just want to say the refereeing in the WNBA has to be fixed. This is something that has been a problem. No review about it. Sophie Cunningham caught an elbow to the head. No review about it. It's like once you put that Indiana Fever jersey on, there's a target on you.
Aliyah Boston got slapped so hard, you'd think she owed someone money. We're talking full-on face smack. Not an accident, not incidental contact. No, a slap to the face in the middle of a nationally televised WNBA game. And the refs? Oh, they were probably off somewhere looking for their missing common sense because apparently they saw nothing wrong. Nothing to review, nothing to upgrade, just your average Tuesday night battery in the paint.
So today in How the Hell Did the Refs Miss This, we have to look at Aliyah Boston getting absolutely cheap shot at by Tina Charles. And look, I know after the game, Tina Charles, her and Aliyah Boston were talking and she was giving Aliyah Boston advice. I'm not out here saying that Tina Charles is the worst person in the world or Tina Charles the devil. What I'm saying is she should have been ejected.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, America's favorite rookie and the only reason half the country even knows Indiana has a basketball team, was getting mugged like it was Black Friday at a Walmart electronics aisle. Hands on her like she was a human coat rack. You'd think she had a free sample sign taped to her jersey the way defenders were glued to her. And what did the refs do? Whisper sweet nonsense in her ear that pissed her off so bad, her own teammates had to hold her back. That's right. The usually chill, reserved, polite media darling Caitlin Clark looked ready to launch a folding chair like it was WrestleMania. What on earth did the refs say? Smile more? Calm down, sweetie. Whatever it was dumb enough to make an entire arena collectively gasp.
We gotta talk about this. We have got to talk about this right here because how the hell the referee saw this play right here.
And in this circus of who trained these refs and are we sure this isn't performance art, the Indiana Fever somehow, against all odds and common sense, managed to pull off a win. Yes, they actually won, miraculously. As if divine intervention momentarily paused the officiating nonsense just long enough to let the scoreboard tilt their way. And they did it despite the refs doing everything short of handing out folding chairs and steel chairs WWE style to the opposing team. The missed calls, the blatant no calls, the phantom fouls. It was a masterclass in how not to officiate a professional basketball game. But while the scoreboard said victory, the bruises, black eyes, and flared tempers told a much different story. So now the real question isn't how they won, but at what cost? How many more wins like this can a team survive before the refs accidentally sideline the entire roster?
So today in How the Hell Did the Refs Miss This, we have to look at Aliyah Boston getting absolutely cheap shot at by Tina Charles. And look, I know after the game, Tina Charles, her and Aliyah Boston were talking and she was giving Aliyah Boston advice. I'm not out here saying that Tina Charles is the worst person in the world or Tina Charles the devil. What I'm saying is she should have been ejected. At the end of the day, basketball is a sport and you can do things to get you ejected. It doesn't mean you're the devil. It doesn't mean you're some evil person.
Let's break this down slowly, because clearly the referees weren't in any rush to process reality. Aliyah Boston got smacked mid-game, like full hand to face, a slap so loud it could have echoed through time. And the referees stared at her like she'd just tripped over her own shoelaces or had an allergic reaction to gravity. They didn't blow the whistle. They didn't review the play. They didn't even give us that classic dramatic slow jog to the monitor to fake concern. Nothing. Just a collective shrug and the silent conclusion that perhaps she'd been hit by a strong gust of disrespectful wind. Meanwhile, her eye was swelling like a balloon at a toddler's birthday party, and the refs had already mentally clocked out. She's fine, they decided, as her eyeball did the doogie and her teammates tried to act like they hadn't just witnessed a misdemeanor happen on national television.
What did you think about when your reactions all kind of went viral yesterday? You did one thing after the next. What was everything like for you afterwards?
I mean, it was pretty funny to see my reactions because I really had no idea. But I mean, it's okay. It's something that I was like, okay, well, I'll be seeing this for a while. People were like screenshotting me and putting it out. I was like, it's okay.
And here's the kicker. The slap was on camera in full HD from 5 different angles, zoomed in, frame by frame with slow-mo and color correction like it was directed by Christopher Nolan. An entire CSI episode could have been based on the footage, complete with dramatic music and unnecessary lab coats. But nope, no foul, not even a, maybe we should review that blatant assault? Just vibes and the sound of crickets. It was the kind of no call that makes you wonder if the refs had a secret parlay riding on the outcome or if they just hold a long-standing grudge against eyeballs. Like, did Aliyah Boston forget to send them a Christmas card? Are they still bitter she didn't like their Instagram story in 2022? Did she once breathe near their nachos? Who hurt you, refs? Because clearly someone did, and now they're taking it out on people's faces.
Wow, totally disgraceful. She literally punched her, as you see it right there. Tina Charles punched Aliyah Boston in the face, man. What are they doing? Why was it we not getting a call on that? Just checking out what some of the people say. Let's wait for facts. But regardless, violence has no place in the game. I really don't want to see this from ladies. And a no call. And that's the crazy part about it. It was a no call. And you wonder why Caitlin Clark was mad at the refs.
Now, let's take a moment to recognize the absolute gall of the WNBA refs. Because this wasn't just a bad call, this was a masterclass in how to ruin your one job while the cameras are rolling. Aliyah Boston gets whacked, they shrug. Caitlin Clark gets tackled every possession, they blink. Caitlin snaps, suddenly that's when they find their authority. Now they want to play tough guy. If the NBA had these refs, LeBron James would have retired by 2013 from emotional damage. Steph Curry would be throwing mouth guards at referees every quarter. And Draymond Green, he'd be in actual prison. Not a sports prison, real prison. These refs would call a charging foul on a guy who got hit by a bus and say, well, he flopped a little. Let's not forget the broader context here. The Indiana Fever, against all odds and barely any competent officiating, managed to get a win. It's like trying to win a game of Monopoly with half the board missing, the banker stealing from the pot, and someone setting the game on fire every 10 minutes. They won, yes. But did they survive? Because now Caitlin Clark's status is up in the air, and her absence would nuke ticket sales, TV ratings, and the entire WNBA storyline like a comet hitting a dinosaur family reunion. All-Star Weekend was supposed to be a coronation. Caitlin versus the vets. The bright new face of the league in front of a national audience. Sponsors lining up, cameras flashing, storylines writing themselves. But now, she might not even play, because the league's officiating is so allergic to accountability that they'd rather pretend nothing happened than admit they let an MVP candidate get jump-scared into a sprained ankle and a public meltdown.
But we got to talk about this. We have got to talk about this right here, because how the hell the referee saw this play right here. So, Aliyah Boston, and I have to say, Aliyah Boston does use her elbows a lot. Does she commit offensive fouls? Sure. She does. She used her elbows a bit too much. It's on the referees to call that. But I mean this when I say this. An offensive foul does not warrant a swipe to the face. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's basically saying you have, like, kind of... you were, like, sealing and you were kind of grabbing onto me. So I suplexed you.
And you know what's wild? The league will probably post some bland statement like, player safety is our top priority, while the refs are out here calling games like they're blindfolded and hungover. What safety? The safety of who? Certainly not Aliyah Boston's cheekbone. Certainly not Caitlin Clark's ligaments. Maybe the only thing being protected here is the refs' union pensions. If you told someone outside of basketball that one player got slapped in the face on live television and another had to be held back after being verbally triggered by the refs all in one night, and that no one was ejected, no one got a tech, and no one even got reviewed, they'd assume this was an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway?, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. At this point, WNBA officiating is like watching someone try to assemble IKEA furniture with oven mitts on. They've got the tools, they just don't care enough to read the instructions. And the league, instead of demanding better, just keeps putting out highlight reels like nothing's wrong. Hey look, Caitlin hit a deep three. Yeah, but she also almost got dislocated 10 seconds earlier. Kind of hard to celebrate when your star player is limping off the court like she just wrestled a bear. Aliyah Boston should be filing a police report, not a post-game interview. She's out here catching hands like she signed up for a reality show called Real Housewives of the Paint. And the refs? They were probably too busy updating their fantasy teams to notice. Or maybe they were just too afraid to blow the whistle in case it disrupted the sacred flow of chaos they've clearly committed their lives to.
You know it's a problem when the worldwide leader in woke is willing to call you out. The exclusive home of pretend basketball, the network that prides itself as the proud home of the WNBA. You know you have a serious problem when ESPN is willing to criticize their prize turd. Not only that, ESPN was willing to criticize the lack of officiating against Caitlin.
And look, every league has bad calls, but this isn't a missed travel or a questionable charge. This is repeated physicality crossing the line into full-on negligence. When your star rookie is injured and your all-star big gets face-checked and your refs are shrugging like they just missed their coffee order, it's no longer an oopsie. It's a pattern, a dangerous one. And unless someone gets benched or fired, it's going to get worse. The solution isn't complicated. Start holding referees accountable. Give players a review challenge. Maybe have someone in New York watching the games who isn't blindfolded. And radical idea. How about you protect the players that bring in the fans, the sponsors, and the TV deals? Because if Caitlin Clark can't play in the All-Star game, you can kiss that ratings bump goodbye and say hello to 2002 viewership numbers.
More people are watching the WNBA than ever before. And they're watching the refs, too. The WNBA has had officiating issues for years. Things got out of control when not one but two skirmishes broke out in a game between the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sun. Player or coach about refs over the past few years, and they'll say that inconsistent or subpar officiating is due to a number of things, a high turnover rate in the league or a lack of experience among them. But it's worth noting how WNBA officiating is looked at by the NBA, which owns roughly 60% of the league. It's very common for WNBA officials after a few seasons in the W to move into NBA officiating crews. But you rarely see things go the other way around.
At the end of the day, the WNBA wants to be taken seriously. It wants the respect, the eyeballs, the endorsements. But you can't ask the world to take you seriously when you let your refs run games like it's open mic night at Clown College. Protect your stars, enforce the rules, and maybe, just maybe, don't let someone get open hand slapped on national TV without at least pretending to notice. Aliyah Boston took a hit like she was auditioning for a Rocky reboot. Caitlin Clark nearly went full Mortal Kombat on a ref. And the officials? They just kept running up and down the court like nothing happened. Business as usual. Welcome to the WNBA, where basketball is elite, the stars are rising, and officiating is somewhere between frighteningly incompetent and legally questionable.
It is getting harder and harder for me to actually enjoy the WNBA, and I really thought that we had turned a corner from last season. Because if you guys remember, last season was 95% drama, 5% basketball. The narratives, the media, the fandom, everything, like nothing was basketball. It was all, oh, you only like this person because of their skin color. This person doesn't do anything. What kind of foul was that? Did you see what this person was posting on social media? This fan base is racist. It's dangerous to play at this arena.
So here we are. Indiana wins the game, but somehow manages to lose the plot entirely. Sure, the scoreboard says victory, but Aliyah Boston walks away with a swollen face, a black eye, and absolutely no justice. She got slapped so hard it echoed through the arena, and the officials didn't even blink. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark might miss the biggest weekend of the season after getting hurt in the same chaotic mess. And the referees? Oh, they'll be back. No accountability, no suspension, just another day of blowing whistles like they're trying to win a kazoo contest. They'll call phantom fouls, ignore actual assaults, and continue ruining lives and legacies one terrible decision at a time. It's like they're being paid in chaos and controversy instead of checks. If this is how professional basketball protects its stars, then it's open season out there, and the refs are leading the hunt.